Hello, everyone. It is Thursday of our grammar week. So we will continue on with sentences today. So we have a couple different types of sentences. So a simple sentence is a sentence that consists of just one independent clause. For example, the prisoner escaped. That's just one independent clause. It makes sense on its own. We have a subject and a verb. The prisoner, subject, escaped, verb. We also yesterday talked about compound subjects and compound predicates. So even if there's a compound subject or predicate, it's still a simple sentence unless you add another independent clause or dependent clause. So the prisoner and his friend escaped. That's still just a simple sentence with a compound subject. The prisoner and his friend escaped, but were later caught. That's still a simple sentence because it's just one independent clause. Even though it's a long independent clause, it's just still one independent clause, so it's a simple sentence. Next, we have compound sentences. A compound sentence has two independent clauses. I drink green tea, but they drink coffee. Both of these are independent clauses and they are connected with a conjunction. So, I drink green tea can be a sentence on its own. They drink coffee can be a sentence on its own. But is a conjunction and it joins these together, comma conjunction. So, two independent clauses with a comma and a conjunction make a compound sentence. Complex sentences have an independent clause and at least one dependent clause. When the cake is brown, when the cake is brown, what? That doesn't make sense on its own, so that's a dependent clause. You have to add this independent clause for it to make sense. When the cake is brown, take it out of the oven. That should say take it out of the oven. This independent clause could stand alone by itself, but with this dependent clause, it makes a complex sentence. So a complex sentence has one independent clause and at least one dependent clause. And usually they're separated by a comma. And then we have compound complex sentences. Compound complex sentences are two or more independent clauses and one or more dependent clause. The following are compound complex sentences. The baby slept and dreamed, and the mother watched while the rain fell. Okay, so the independent clauses, the baby slept and dreamed. That is an independent clause. The mother watched. That's an independent clause. While the rain fell. Well, that's a dependent clause because while the rain fell, what? You have to add an independent clause for it to make sense. So the baby slept and dreamed, and the mother watched while the rain fell. So this is an example of one that you didn't need a comma right here to separate the dependent clause and the independent clause. While the rain fell, the baby slept and dreamed, and the mother watched. In this case, you did need the comma here. While the rain fell, comma, the baby slept and dreamed, and the mother watched. So you've got a compound sentence here, and then your dependent clause here makes it complex. And same thing here, just in a different order. Your dependent clause here and your compound sentence here with the two independent clauses, so you've got both in one, making it a compound complex sentence. So when you write, you want to use a variety of these types of sentences in your writing so it doesn't just drone on. I mentioned that yesterday. Listen to this. This sentence has 5 words. Here are 5 more words. 5-word sentences are fine, but several together become monotonous. Listen to what is happening. The writing is getting boring. The sound of it drones. It's like a stuck record. The ear demands some variety. That's boring, right? It's just going on and on, 5-word sentences. It doesn't sound good to listen to. Now listen. I vary the sentence length and I create music. Music. The writing sings. It has a pleasant rhythm, a lilt, a harmony. I use short sentences, and I use sentences of medium length. And sometimes, when I am certain the reader is rested, I will engage him with a sentence of considerable length, a sentence that burns with energy and builds with all the impetus of a crescendo, the roll of the drums, the crash of the cymbals, sounds that say, listen to this. It is important. So write with a combination of short, medium, and long sentences. Create a sound that pleases the reader's ear. Don't just write words, write music. So you see how this is so much easier to listen to and better to hear than this 5-word sentences over and over and over. This just drones on. This, you have variety. It sounds interesting. It sounds like the writer is saying, like music. And I know that some of these words you don't necessarily know because they're music words, and we have not learned all of those. But that's okay. It's not about the vocabulary. Wanted you to hear the difference in these two types of writing. We want our writing to be like this. We want it to have variety and sound interesting, okay? Because you want your reader to be interested in your writing and not just keep going on and on and on, okay? So on Seesaw today, I want you to practice writing with different sentence lengths, okay? And I'll post a spot for you to do that, and you can just type it on a note or a Google Doc and upload it. And I want you to practice using the different sentence lengths and using different types of sentences. Go back and rewatch the video if you need to, and pause it and practice writing the different types of sentences that are on there. All right. I will see you tomorrow, and we will finish up our grammar week. Bye.